Hello everyone. Let's take a look at our pour painting kit and see what kind of fun we're in store for. You will have a card and a little treat and a letter from me. These are paper drop cloths that are impervious to the paint, so place these on whatever work surface you're planning on doing these projects on. And you get about 8 containers of paint, several different colors, a couple pairs of nitrile gloves, and 4 wooden panels. I personally don't like using the gloves, but I put them in case you'd care to. I start by putting these small plastic cups down underneath the panel and putting it on there. I add these other containers that I'll need, a little bit of water and a torch if you have it. It's not essential, but it can do some fun things with the paint. And then I have a rag. Now I'm shaking all my colors before I start just to make sure they're all mixed well. They have some paint extender in them as well as a little bit of silicone oil to do some cell kind of separation. So you want to give them a good shake before you use them. I'm taking the lids off of all these so that I can work with them all at the same time, and I'm pouring them into this plastic cup. You know, there are lots of different ways to go at this. A lot of people take their time and pour these very carefully, very distinct layers. Some people just dump it all in there and go for it. It doesn't really matter. This is called the flip cup technique, as you are about to see. There you go, for obvious reasons. You lift that up. If you have a torch or a propane torch or something, torch it a little bit and you'll see a little bit more of those cells pop into the paint. I'm just tilting it around now. The corners are a little bit tricky to get the paint into, so sometimes I will fill those just directly with paint to make sure the flow is good. I don't dump all the paint off before I've covered. And I also saved a little bit in my cup in case there's some spots that I need to add a little bit more to. You can always just add pure colors to these. And I don't like that big blue area, so I'm gonna drip a few green blobs in there. Really doesn't matter how you go at this, and just keep tilting it around until you like it. Okay, you can see the obvious reasons we have that drop sheet there, and that is what I've ended up with. I love the separation in that orange. There's some cool kind of cellular action going on. And let me show you a couple other ways to go at this pour painting techniques. First of all, I would also suggest you go online. There are hundreds of generous artists willing to share the way they go at these pour paintings, and there are as many ways as there are people, I would almost say. This next process, I dump the paints into concentric circles. This particular process is good if you want your colors to stay distinct and bright. They also create nice sharp lines and edges between the colors, as you'll see in a moment. And I fill this up pretty good. You know, I'm going to cover most of this panel with paint. I'm going to do it only on this one side so I can show you another technique on the other side. And I think you're getting the idea that it doesn't really matter how this stuff goes on, although there are lots of ways. It's really about covering it and then letting it do its own thing. Sometimes letting go is the best thing you can do for helping a work kind of make itself. Okay, a little bit orange there, and that's probably should be enough paint, I think. One more shot. Okay. I'm going to go to the other part and show you another technique. It starts very similarly to the flip cup in that I'm going to put my paints directly into a cup like this, and before I pour them out, let's add a little red in there. I'm going to take a stick and give it a little gentle stir, or a pencil in this case, and just slightly get them combined, and then I'm going to pour it out. And you can pour it in a spiral, in lines, it doesn't really matter. You can shimmy it as it comes out. The idea is simply to fill the space up so that you can tilt those puddles around. You can see these two techniques don't look like they have a lot in common. I'm going to try and unify a little bit, add a little bit of silver to everything, fill in a few spots, and maybe it'll ultimately look good together instead of looking like a double sample board. So that should be plenty of paint. I'm going to pick it up, tilt it around. Again, hopefully you've got a smock on by this point. This paint is permanent, so be very careful. And just kind of let it flow to your heart's desire. If you don't care for it, if you want to add some other elements, just keep pouring. And if you really are unhappy with it, you can walk it into the sink and rinse it off. Or actually, I would recommend you scrape it off into a garbage can and then wash it a little bit. And give it another shot. So that's about it. There's endless ways. Thank you so much for spending time with me and learning these new techniques. And I hope to see what you have created sometime soon. Thanks. Look forward to sharing another art experience with you sometime soon in the future. Take care.